Let's jump into the demo. AI is changing the way we interact with technology. It's capturing people's imaginations. Computronics has been hard at work finding meaningful and impactful ways to integrate AI into POSSE. So we're going to look at a couple of tools, one in the customer portal and one in the staff portal, that are going to change the way that you use POSSE with AI. The first tool we're going to look at is POSSE Assistant. The Assistant is a powerful AI chat window that elevates the way your users interact with the customer portal. It empowers users by making finding what they need easy. It reduces workload by being the first line of defense against easy-to-answer, repetitious questions. And POSSE Assistant can leverage some of the great tools your jurisdictions have made, as well as data within POSSE itself. So let's dive in. Here I am on the customer portal. And before I log in as my user, Emily, we can see that POSSE Assistant is available to us in the bottom right-hand corner. The notifications and label make it easy to see right away. When I open up the Assistant, you'll see that this entire window is resizable. POSSE Assistant even works on mobile devices, and so it keeps with the responsive design of the customer portal. Notifications can be controlled as well. Now, let's say Emily wants to go ahead and look for the status of one of her permits. Well, she could log in, check her dashboard, and see what the status of her permit is there. POSSE Assistant lets her do this without even needing to log in. Emily can simply ask her question in the chat window, and POSSE Assistant is going to give her an answer right away. Let's see if this is true. I'm going to log in as my user Emily. When we log in, this takes us to the Permitting and Inspections menu, where we can go ahead and apply for other permits. But if I scroll down, we're going to see our dashboard that collects everything Emily needs to find in one place. In fact, on the first page of this dashboard, under the Action Requires section, we can see that there is a permit number 52, and it is in a status where Emily needs to hand in revisions. So that information that exists in POSSE Assistant, is able to actually access. We can configure what are called tools in order to allow the Assistant limited, controlled access to POSSE information. In the case we just saw, POSSE Assistant is able to recognize that it has a permit number, and then ask POSSE for specific information about that permit. In this case, what are the status and address? So we're really able to curate and control what information in POSSE the Assistant has access to. In addition, users are able to give feedback. This is one of many data points that we are collecting to continually improve POSSE Assistant. Let's try something else. Say you have a new user in the system. They're brand new and they need help figuring out exactly what they need. While POSSE Assistant can help with more than just information. It can also provide follow-up actions as part of its responses. So if this brand new user, say, wants to build a subdivision and needs to know where to start, rather than just give them information, POSSE Assistant can also give them links. This link can take them right to the specific job they need. This allows users to get more out of Customer Portal than ever before. They can get exactly what they need right when they need it. The Assistant can also provide email links, helping connect users with the staff that they actually need to talk to. Now, let's try something else. I'm going to go back to the home screen and see how POSSE Assistant handles an address. I'm going to give it an address I know very well. 13 Kenview Boulevard is in an industrial area of Brampton. I know this, and POSSE Assistant knows it as well. As you can see, POSSE Assistant is able to correctly bring up the zoning information for the address we give it. Not only that, it actually points us towards documents that we may want to know more about. This goes back to the idea of curated knowledge. POSSE Assistant effectively has two places that it can pull knowledge from: tools and content. In this response, we get both. It uses its tools to pull information out of GIS, specifically Brampton's GIS layers, to get the zoning information it needs. It also has access to specific content that we've given it. This takes the form generally of text files, maybe PDFs or other text-based content. In that information, using a vector database, POSSE Assistant is able to pull in even more information that we might want to see. The links to the documents come out of this content. So, it's a robust tool, and you can control what knowledge POSSE Assistant has access to give your users the best possible experience. Now, as I ask my next question, POSSE Assistant is able to follow along. It understands by context that we're still talking about 13 Kenview Boulevard, and gives us appropriate information, such as the height being 9 meters, or the setback being 7.5. POSSE Assistant here is pulling from different sources of information, whether that be its tools or its content. On the user side, it's seamless. Even if I change directions in this conversation and ask about a different address, POSSE Assistant is able to keep up. It understands what we're talking about. It checks Brampton's GIS maps and tells us right away that we can't build an ARU here. Now let's change directions entirely. What happens if I ask POSSE Assistant about an address that isn't even in Brampton? Well, our team of developers have been hard at work ensuring that the right guardrails exist around the prompting of POSSE Assistant. So as you can see, rather than give false information, rather than hallucinating, POSSE Assistant tells us it doesn't know. This is important to ensure that we're giving as accurate and complete information to the end user as possible. Let's try something else. Let's say our user Emily wants to go ahead and apply for a permit. How can POSSE Assistant help her with that? Well, the answer is that POSSE Assistant can do a lot. So as Emily, I'm going to go ahead and click the Apply for Permit button. It's easy to see right there in the middle of the screen. It's going to take us to our menu where we can see all the permits that I could apply for. We'll pick the residential building permit. You'll notice here that as we change screens, our POSSE Assistant icon is always visible in the bottom right-hand corner. The visibility of where the assistant is and isn't available is something that can be configured to meet your needs. We're just going to go ahead and skip on through to the next step. And for the sake of time, I'm going to jump over to the location step, where we can select where this residential building permit is going to apply to. I have a specific address that I want to use here, so I'm going to go ahead and select 42 Nevada Court. When I scroll down here, our GIS map is going to allow us to simply click the location we want and relate it to this permit. Now that I've selected an address, let's say Emily has a question as she's going through this application, and so she needs to know more about what she can do at this location. You'll see as I open the assistant and ask my question, I'm not giving POSSE Assistant the address I'm talking about. However, POSSE Assistant is still able to follow along with the context. So, it checks 42 Nevada Court and tells us that we can build an ARU here, but only one that's internal or attached. So there are two different tools that are happening here. On one hand, POSSE Assistant is using POSSE's internal data, and it's able to see where I am in context on the customer portal. It knows what address I've already selected. Meanwhile, it then takes that information and uses Brampton's GIS maps to get information about that address. This is a really powerful way to help users walk through and guide them through the application process as they go. On top of that, POSSE Assistant can help users retain that information. When they're done with the conversation, or at any point in the conversation, they can click the mail icon in the top right corner to get an AI summarized email of the conversation that they've had. This goes to whatever email address they put in, and then they have a record of the conversation to look back on in case they need the same guidance again. For example, if Emily gets information and needs to reassess her application, she can use her summary email as a guiding point next time she tries to apply. As you can see, POSSE Assistant is a robust AI tool that elevates the way your users interact with the customer portal. It helps them find what they need in one place. It reduces your staff's workload. And it collects data from inside of POSSE and your GIS maps and other tools you've created to provide extra value to your users. POSSE Assistant is our answer for how AI can empower the customer portal. Now there's one more thing I want to show you. In the staff portal, POSSE has highly configurable searches that allow different groups of users to have exactly what they need when they search. Using AI, we've created a smart search that allows users to ask their questions in plain conversational English and have the AI find the appropriate search for them and then fill it in. So, when I finish typing my question, Smart Search is going to bring up a list of all the searches it thinks might answer my question. All I need to do is select the search I want. Then Smart Search will automatically fill in the criteria and perform the search. As you can see, this gives us the best of both worlds. On one hand, we have our highly configurable searches for different user groups to meet their needs. On the other hand, we have one easy location where people can ask their questions in natural language and find the information that fits their question. Even if I ask something ambiguous like Nicholas Almeida, Smart Search is able to give us a list of different searches that might fit our criteria. Is Nicholas Almeida a customer, a defendant, a user? Once I know what I want, Smart Search will automatically fill out the criteria so I can navigate where I need to go. As you can see, AI is coming to POSSE. POSSE Assistant and Smart Search change the way that users interact with both the staff portal and the customer portal and provide more value than ever before.